My dear students, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to give you complete exercises of the lesson Facing Death, a one-act play in class 12 compulsory English according to new course. Let's get started.
Learn English with Lakshman. Understanding the text. Where does the play take place? The play Facing Death takes place in the dining room of Monsieur Durand's house. He lives there with his three daughters. The house also functions as a small boarding house where guests can stay and eat. Durand is a widower and a former railroad worker who now struggles to manage the household. This single setting reflects the family's poor financial condition and tense emotional atmosphere. Why do the grocery, the baker, and the butcher send their bills to the Durand household? The grocery, the baker, the butcher send their bills to Durand's household because he has not paid them for a long time. His financial condition is very weak and he is unable to clear his debts. As a result, these shopkeepers demand payment and refuse to supply more goods until the previous bills are settled. This situation highlights the seriousness of Durand's economic crisis. Why does Monsieur Durand spend money on candles when he doesn't have money to buy even bread? Monsieur Durand spends money on candles despite his poverty because he wants to honor the memory of his dead son Rene. He plans to light candles on his son's death anniversary as a symbol of love and remembrance. Even though he cannot afford basic necessities like bread, his emotional attachment to his son leads him to prioritize this act. It shows his deep grief and emotional struggle. Why did Monsieur Durand sell his life insurance?
Monsieur Durand sold his life insurance to repay his debt.
He was in a desperate financial condition and could not manage his expenses. Creditors were pressuring him to pay back the money he owed. To deal with the situation, he chose to sell his life insurance policy. This decision reflects his helplessness and the extent of his economic difficulties. Why has Monsieur Durand paid fire insurance? Monsieur Durand has paid for fire insurance is part of a desperate plan to support his daughters financially. He intends to burn his own house so that his daughters can claim compensation from the insurance company. This extreme step shows his sacrifice as a father who wants to secure his daughter's future even at the cost of his own life and property. How did Monsieur Durand and Mrs. Durand run out of their inheritances from both sides? Monsieur Durand and his wife lost all their inherited wealth due to poor financial decisions. Mrs. Durand was particularly responsible for reckless spending and unwise investments. Their lack of proper planning and involvement in risky speculation led to the loss of both paternal and maternal property. As a result, they became financially unstable and eventually fell into poverty. Why does Monsieur Durand tell a lie about his birthplace? Monsieur Durand lies about his birthplace to hide his past and protect his reputation. He had left his homeland to marry a woman he loved and settled in Switzerland. Additionally, he had fought against his own country, which brought him shame. To avoid embarrassment and judgment from others, He chooses to conceal the truth and present a false identity. What business is Monsieur Durand running to make a living? Monsieur Durand runs a small boarding house to earn a living. He has turned his home into a place where guests can stay and eat, similar to a modest lodge or hotel. This business is his main source of income after leaving his job as a railroad worker. However, due to poor management and financial difficulties, the business is not successful. What plan does Monsieur Durand have to help his daughters with money? Monsieur Durand plans to burn his house and sacrifice his life so that his daughters can receive money from the fire insurance. He believes this compensation will secure their future. His plan shows his deep love and responsibility as a father, even though it is tragic and extreme. He is willing to die so that his daughters can live a better life. How does Monsieur Durand die? Monsieur Durand dies by committing suicide at the end of the play. He drinks poison and sets his house on fire according to his plan. His intention is to ensure that his daughters receive compensation from the insurance policy. His death is both tragic and sacrificial as he gives up his life in an attempt to provide financial security for his family.
Reference to the context. Sketch the character of Monsieur Durand. Monsieur Durand is the central character of the one-act play Facing Death by August Strindberg. He is a widower, a former railway worker, and the owner of a small boarding house where he lives with his three daughters. Due to financial hardship, he has turned his home into a lodge to earn a living. Despite his efforts, he struggles to manage expenses and is burdened with debts, which makes his life miserable and stressful. Durand is portrayed as a loving, caring, and self sacrificing father. Although his daughters disrespect and blame him, he continues to think about their future. He is emotionally broken by the death of his son and the harsh behavior of his family. In the end, his decision to sacrifice his life for his daughters shows his deep love and responsibility. Thus, he is a tragic hero who suffers silently and dies for his family. How do we know that the Durand family has reached a dead end? The Durand family's miserable condition clearly shows that they have reached a dead end. They have lost all their inherited property and are now living in a loss, struggling to survive. Monsieur Durand is heavily in debt and unable to pay the bills of the grocer, baker, and butcher. The family lacks even basic necessities like food, and their financial situation continues to worsen. Moreover, their emotional condition is equally disturbing. The daughters hate their fathers and constantly blame him for their suffering. Durand is isolated, humiliated, and forced to eat poor quality food. Creditors pressurize him, and he sees no hope of improvement. His extreme plan to burn the house and end his life proves that he has lost all options. These conditions clearly indicate that the family has reached a dead point of no return. The mother, though already dead, seems to have had a great influence on the daughters. especially Teresa. Do you agree? Yes, I agree that mother, though dead, has a strong influence on the daughters, especially Teresa. When she was alive, she used to blame her husband and taught her daughters to hate him. She controlled their thinking and filled their mind with negativity against their father. As a result, the daughters grew up with a biased and negative attitude. Even after her death, her influence continues to shape their behavior. Monsieur Durand remains silent about his wife's fault to protect her image, but this silence strengthens the daughter's hatred. Teresa, in particular, behaves very rudely towards her father. She insults him, takes away his food, and shows no respect. This clearly proves that the mother's teachings deeply affected the daughter's mindset and relationship with their father. Discuss the relationship between Monsieur Durand and his wife. The relationship between Monsieur Durand and his wife was unhealthy and full of conflicts. Mrs. Durand was irresponsible and blamed her husband for their problems, even though she herself wasted money on gambling and poor investment. Her reckless behavior led to the loss of their inherited property and pushed the family into financial crisis. She also treated her husband badly and spread negativity among the daughters. She taught them to hate their father and made them believe that he was responsible for their suffering. Durand, however, tolerated everything silently and did not reveal her faults after her death. This shows that their relationship lacked trust, respect, and understanding. It also had a lasting negative impact on their children. Money determines the relationship between character in this play. Explain with examples. Money plays a crucial role in shaping relationship in facing death. The lack of money creates tension, conflicts, and misunderstanding among the characters. Monsieur Durand's financial problem led to poverty, hunger, and suffering in the family. He cannot provide even basic needs, which weakens his relationship with his daughters. The daughters blame and disrespect him because of their poor condition. Similarly, shopkeepers like the grocer, baker, and butcher refuse to provide goods due to unpaid bills. Even the relationship between Durand and his wife was affected by money as her reckless spending caused financial ruin. Thus, economic hardship destroys trust, love, and respect in the family, proving that money strongly influences relationships in the play. What does Monsieur Durand's plan to kill himself for insurance money tell us about him? Monsieur Durand's plan to kill himself for insurance money reveals his deep love and sacrifice for his daughters. Despite living a life full of suffering, poverty, and disrespect, he still thinks about their future. His decision to burn the house and end his life is driven by his desire to secure financial support for them. This plan also shows his helplessness and emotional pain. He feels that he has no other way to solve these problems or improve his daughter's lives. Instead of blaming them, he silently accepts his fate and chooses self sacrifice. His action highlights his kindness, responsibility, and fatherly love. Thus, he is portrayed as a tragic figure who gives up everything for the well being of his family. Discuss facing death as a modern tragedy. Facing death is a modern tragedy because it focuses on the struggles of a common man rather than a heroic figure. The play deals with real life problems such as poverty, family conflict, and emotional suffering. Monsieur Durand represents an ordinary person who faces economic hardship and social pressure. The play shows how these problems lead to his downfall. He is isolated, misunderstood, and mentally disturbed. His relationships are broken and he loses hope in life. In the end, he commits suicide, which gives the play a tragic ending. The themes of realism and naturalism, along with the suffering of a common man, clearly establish facing death as a modern tragedy. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you will be updated whenever I upload a new video. Thank you.